Keep going. 1, 2, 3.
Good afternoon. We're going to try that again. Good afternoon. There are hundreds of us out here on this quad. We're going to try that one more time. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Haley, and I serve this community as your chaplain. One of the roles of a chaplain in an institution of higher learning is to stand as a symbol of all that is sacred, to remind us that mystery, wonder, and love are all around us. That sacredness does not belong to any one tradition, community, or creed. That sacredness belongs to each and every one of us. And so I stand before you at the crown of the academic year, and for many of you, the beginning of your Trinity College career, to call your attention to the sacred. This gathering today has never been before and will never be again. This is a once in an eternity moment. Take it in, savor it. How good and pleasant it is to be together 'neath the elms on this hallowed ground. Friends, let us pray. You who go by many names, you who go by none, we invite you into our midst this afternoon to sanctify our gathering. Help us to savor the blessing of this moment and to honor each person with whom we share it. Open our hearts to the wonder of this moment here and now. As we begin a new academic year, be among us in our studies, our service, our labor, and our leisure. Be with our students, our faculty, our staff, our families, and neighbors. Be everywhere and help us to remember it. We ask all this in your name and in the names of those who have come before. Amen. Please be seated. I now ask the Secretary of the Faculty, Susan Messino, to deliver the opening remarks.
Good afternoon. As Secretary of the Faculty, I represent all of your Trinity professors in extending a very warm welcome to you, the newest members of the Trinity community. Welcome to the class of 2026, to our transfer and IDP students, and to all of our new families. We're delighted you've chosen Trinity, and I know there is so much at this institution for you to discover, to learn, to share, as you start this new chapter of your life and work toward your best future. There's one special thing we have in common. We hopefully will all be here to celebrate the historic occasion of the college's 200th anniversary in 2023. I'm part of the Bicentennial Planning Committee, and I'm committed to doing everything I can to help make sure this college, this place, is ready to face the next 200 years. I personally feel so blessed to be a faculty member here, and I'm so appreciative of this historic institution and this community. This event today marks the official opening of the academic year at Trinity College, and it's a nearly 200-year-old tradition. You'll hear a great deal about traditions at Trinity, and that's because we're proud of our history and because we know that a Trinity education is as relevant and valuable today as it was 200 years ago. We believe in the liberal arts education we offer, and we look forward to having you in our classrooms. It's my pleasure now to invite Jason Farrell, a member of the class of 2023, and President of the Student Government Association, to bring greetings from the student body.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jason Farrell, and I'm the student body president. Welcome to Trinity College, all of our new students. I'm elated to see your faces today. I wanted to pass off a few lessons that I've learned. Oh, windy. I wanted to pass off a few lessons that I've learned during my time here at Trinity that have helped me navigate almost every aspect of my life on campus. And I hope they might help you make the most of your time here. I want to start by acknowledging that your path may change in one way or another, and that is okay. You may leave with a different major than you planned, different friends that you started with, and maybe a different outlook on life. That being said, I feel that one of the most important journeys that anyone can take over the course of their education here is committing to learn more about themselves and more about who they may want to become. In college, we spend 4 years taking in the world around us, whether that be through our classes or interactions with our peers. As every SGA president says during this ceremony, I remember when I was sitting in those chairs. I came to campus eager, ready to explore. I had so many expectations of what my time here would be and so many experiences that I was hoping to have. While I contentedly enter my last year, this has been nothing like I had planned. I found myself drawn to academic discussions that I had never known existed. I attended events that put me outside of my comfort zone, and I've met people who have helped me create a home away from home. I've said all this to communicate that you are the ultimate judge of whether an experience is worthwhile. Be like a sponge while you're here at Trinity. Take advantage of every opportunity, every fun excursion with your friends. But don't forget to check in with yourself. Make sure that you are in close proximity to the things that make you feel whole. I also hope you consider that each member of your class is beginning this learning curve as well, and that we can all have an effect on each other's success. Therefore, I ask all of you to leave every space on this campus better than you found it. And I mean more than just joining a club or participating in an event. I hope that you all seek to take care of this campus and to take care of each other. This is a time to explore and enjoy. However, we can't forget that we are not the only ones here. Each of us are surrounded by a student body full of individuals who are looking forward to something. Recognize that. And don't let your actions here take that away from them. As you enter this school year, I implore you to think about the role you want to play and how your peers might look back on their time at Trinity. These 4 years will be a time to work hard and develop yourselves intellectually, but this is also a time to be savored. Remember all of the feelings you're having right now. Take stock of everything you will learn within and beyond the classroom. Celebrate your achievements and give yourself space to be present. I look forward to seeing what you all will do with your time here. And before I pass on the mic, I want to say a few words about our student integrity contract. So all communities need a set of standards to keep things fair. Our set of standards is the integrity contract, and we ask you to take part as members of Trinity College in this communal promise. The integrity contract, which was written by and is administered by students, is both complicated and simple. It is complicated in that it is a fragile thing, an act of faith. Faith that each member of this campus will play their part. And it is also simple because it embodies the basic rules of common decency and respect, not just for each other, but for our college. By choosing to matriculate at Trinity, each of us makes a commitment to intellectual honesty and academic integrity. We understand that doing our own work and fully crediting the work of others is essential to preserving the intellectual growth of the college. Each of us is responsible for knowing what constitutes academic dishonesty as defined in the student handbook, which you may find online. The integrity contract and the oath of matriculation, which Professor Messino will administer later in the ceremony, represent our commitment and promise to Trinity College and to each other. It is now my pleasure to invite Matthew Hyde, Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid, to tell you about exceptional students of the class of 2026. Thank you.
President Berger Sweeney, faculty, staff, friends of Trinity, and to our soon-to-be matriculated students, thank you for this opportunity to introduce Trinity 26, a class poised to graduate as the college's 200th in approximately 1,350 days from this moment. I'd be remiss if I did not begin with a final statement of gratitude. To the gathered parents and guardians of our newest students, thank you. This moment on this glorious day is rooted deeply in your years of love, care, hopes, and dreams for your young people. Please know that all of you invested is honored, appreciated, and will be amplified by this amazing college and community. The 575 Bantams of Trinity 26, the 27 distinguished transfer editions, and our 5 new independent degree program scholars now gift Trinity with their awesome blend of intelligence. I'm finding it. It's there. Experiences and perspectives. Yeah, line. The amalgamation of talents, ideas, and interests sitting before us this afternoon is a spectacular expression of Trinity's dynamism. So, newest flock of Bantams, who are you, where are you from, and what's your deal? Let's begin with your names. The 607 of you have 431 distinct ones, but 38 of you share 5 of them. To the parents of our 11 Johns, 9 Williams, 7 Alexandras, 6 Emmas, and 5 Olivias, originality was not your naming intent. But it might have been for those who bestowed Ilarius, Maribel, and Ikra on their bundle of Bantam. From Aaron, or Aaron, to Zuri, your monikers span the alphabet. Thanks to Shui Ge and Shui Jun for bringing the X's, and for Yabsera for bringing our lone Y. Zachary, Trigva, Hastings, Allen, Vitston, your 33-letter name stretches the longest. Well, Min Shu, you keep it quick and tight with your 5. And specifically to the 5 Matthews, where are you, 5 Matthews? Raise the hand. Yeah, do our name proud as a lifelong Bantam. In addition to your newly grasped Trinity identity, there's so much that draws you together. Nikhil, a service-minded, STEM-oriented outdoorsman, John, an undefeated football captain and National Honor Society member, and Kwaku, a bilingual track captain and affinity group leader. The 3 of you share a birthday, and it's today. Happy birthday. So, President Berger Sweeney may have presidential approval to sing happy birthday as a group. So, Nikhil, John, and Kwaku, happy birthday. You guys all ready for this? Do we all know the song? On 3, and if I don't hear it, we're here all night long. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nikhil, John, and Kwaku. Happy birthday to you. Nice. If you're wondering, the most common birthday for our newest Bantams, July 9. 7 of you joined humanity on that day. 2 in 2003, 4 of you on the very same day just over 18 years ago in 2004, and 1 more in 2005. Trinity 26, your commonalities create connection and spawn synergy, and there's awesome synergistic potential before us. While you should find comfort when and where your interests and identities align, I challenge you to find and relish the knowledge that can be gained from what's uncommon amongst you. From this day forward, fully embrace your Bantam energy and deploy it with bold efforts to engage and impact our community and those with whom you share it. To inspire a spirit of classmate-focused inquiry, I share the following. Trinity 26, your reach is truly global. The most local amongst you can jog 1.4 miles to her home on Hartford Street right over there. While the Bantam amongst you who journey the furthest will need to hop 9,325 miles across oceans, continents to his home in Shah Alam, Malaysia. Trinity 26, you come from the rumply green mountains of Vermont, the glowing landscapes of Iowa, the tangled streets of San Francisco. The crowded avenues of the world's capital cities have been the backdrop for amenity in Trinity 26. Residents of Addis Ababa, Hanoi, Islamabad, Kathmandu, Mexico City, New Delhi, Seoul, and Washington, D.C. are all seated on this quad. Your stomping grounds also range over quieter backyards, places like Breckenridge, Colorado, Smyrna, Georgia, Haley, Idaho, Bar Mills, Maine, Moorhead, Minnesota, and Cedar Park, Texas claim you as their own. But for the next 4 years, they'll have to share you with Hartford, Connecticut. Trinity 26, your cultural, racial, and ethnic identities reflect the exciting dimension of our Earth's population. Your faiths span the spectrum of beliefs, and your collective talents will light up Trinity. You are recruited athletes, posse scholars, engineers, philosophers, neuroscientists, high school valedictorians. Your interest and intent, ideas and ideals are vast and compelling. Regardless of how you landed in the seat before me, let it be known that this day, your class and your college unite all of you. Each and every one of you belongs at Trinity. Let me repeat that. Each and every one of you belongs. There are no imposters here. No one of you is better than any other. My admissions and financial aid teammates did not make any mistakes. Each choice they made in populating your flock of bantams was a deliberate and affirmative action. And I stand here before you in awe of how much you have to learn from one another, and of the absolute wisdom that can be gained if you find the fortitude and patience to do so. 31 bantams of 26 have followed a parent or sibling to Trinity, but the majority have charted their own course to our Hartford home. A special word of congratulations to the 85 members of our newest class who, as of this convocation ceremony, will be the first in their family to make the college dream come true. Yes. Trinity 26, use your collective dynamism as fuel to think deeply, learn actively, and to gain a keen sense of why your education matters in the world. You shared your best selves in your applications. Not one of you claimed to be uninterested, uncaring, quick to judge, dismissive, or to be full of pretense. So prove it. Engage your classmates, challenge them, support them, and at every turn strive to learn from them, especially when and where differences are apparent. The incongruencies between you and your classmates present an unending opportunity to shape a more informed and worthy narrative. Find what's and who's comfortable, but be bold and push beyond the easy, the obvious, and the comfortable. You'll be well served when your education gets uncomfortable and your mind and heart open and remain open to differing perspectives and new possibilities. With that, friends and colleagues, on behalf of the Student Success and Enrollment Division, I present to all those in attendance and to the entire Trinity community, Trinity 2026. I've always wanted to be 6'5". It is now my distinct honor to introduce Trinity's 22nd president, Dr. Joanne Berger-Sweeney.
Thank you, Matt. That was very entertaining, and I've never wanted to be 6'5". Lucky me, I'm not. Matriculation seeks to welcome incoming students formally to this fellowship of learners that makes Trinity such a very special place to spend one's undergraduate years. Matriculation here at Trinity is unique in that this ceremony focuses on a book. This book, a very special, small, leather-bound book written by Bishop Brownell, our first president. Yeah, the guy who's behind there, greeting you all. In a moment or two, I will present the book to the Secretary of the Faculty, Professor Messino, for safekeeping for the 2022-2023 academic year. Bishop Brownell's book symbolizes the academic commitment of this college. Each year at commencement, the Secretary of the Faculty returns Bishop Brownell's book to the president of the college, who then places it into the hands of each Trinity student receiving a degree. In this sense, it is a link with every other graduate of the college. Upon your own commencement, you will be joined with thousands of distinguished predecessors who, like you, have been fortunate to study in this place. The tradition began in 1827 with the first graduating class, when Bishop Brownell wanted students to touch the Bible while receiving their diploma. At that first commencement, right in the middle of the ceremony, Bishop Brownell discovered he had somehow mistakenly forgotten to bring the Bible. The only other book at the podium was this one, in which he had written the order of the exercises in Latin. Without missing a beat, Trinity's first president simply used this book, as have all Trinity presidents since. Professor Massino, it is my privilege to present to you, to the faculty of this college, this book, in full confidence that the faculty will continue to offer a liberal arts education to all undergraduates of Trinity. This honored book has been touched by each individual who has ever received a degree from this college. I now place it in your hands for safekeeping for the 2022-2023 academic year and ask you to return it to me on commencement day.
Madam President, I accept this book on behalf of my colleagues, and we thank you for your trust.
And now we come to the second book, the one that's here, that's unique to our Trinity traditions. This is the Matriculation book. It is the most recent in a series of volumes preserved in the college's archives since the founding of our college. All new students who are admitted as degree candidates are required to subscribe to an oath by signing their names in this book. Soon, you too will sign this book and take the oath of matriculation, thus making a commitment to become an active member of Trinity's community of learners. Your addition to this book will serve as a reminder to you and to all who are witness that you will approach your responsibilities with seriousness of purpose and with exemplary judgment. As a scholarly community, the college has a formal commitment through the curriculum it offers to transmit that which has proved to be significant and long-lasting. In this sense, matriculation symbolizes the commitment to preserve, to transmit, and to advance knowledge. For you who are students, it signifies both the opportunity to attend college and the responsibility to seek your own education in company with your fellow students and the faculty. It is now my pleasure to invite Professor Massino and Associate Dean for the Faculty Development, Takunari Miyazaki, to administer the oath of matriculation.
Madam President, I place in your care these undergraduates as candidates in arts and sciences, worthy of admissions to all the rights and privileges of Trinity College.
New students will stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I promise to observe the statutes of Trinity College. To obey all its rules and regulations. And to discharge faithfully all scholastic duties required of me. I further promise to maintain and defend all the rights, privileges, and immunities of the college according to my station and degree in the same. Thank you for signaling your acceptance and for joining our college community. Madam President, in testimony whereof, each undergraduate shall hereafter sign the Book of Matriculation.
Thank you. I would now like to ask Caitlin Gedry, Renita Merciley, and Rashida Rattray to come forward and sign the matriculation book. Caitlin is the 200th student alphabetically in the class of 2026 and thus symbolizes the 200th graduating class of Trinity College. Renita represents the transfer program. Rashida represents the individualized degree program. Thank you. Newest members of the Trinity community, you have now learned about the student integrity contract and your rights and responsibilities within it. Thank you, and as soon as he takes your picture, you're welcome to go back to your seat. All right. Or you can stand up here for the whole speech, but you may not, you may not want that. You have seen and will one day touch Bishop Brownell's book, which will unite you with all those who have passed through this college. You have seen and will sign tomorrow the large book that enrolls you in this college and in the ageless company of scholars. Welcome to the new academic year, and for many of you, the formal beginning of your life as a member of the Trinity College family. Students, parents, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends, we are all part of the Bantam family. This is a community of people who care for one another, hold one another responsible for our actions, take an active role in advancing the college and Hartford, and enthusiastically support future generations of learners and doers, paying forward and building upon the opportunities that we have received. Convocation is an especially happy occasion. It's when the entire campus community comes together to celebrate our newest members and to officially launch the academic year. After a busy move-in period, it's time to congratulate you, the newest members of our community, the class of 2026, transfer students and IDP students. Welcome. And congratulations to all of the people who supported your journey here to Trinity College, one of the best liberal arts colleges in the country. How many of you have a relative who attended Trinity? How many of you are the first in your families to go to college? How many of you had to take a plane to get here? How many of you have younger brothers and sisters? You see, we come from different places with different life stories, and we have made a choice to join this community, this Trinity College community. Our differences can make coming together difficult sometimes, but it is our differences that make our community rich and strong. Now, for those of you who are new, what you will discover in many of my speeches is that they are centered around a book I've read. I'm an avid reader, and it's rare to find me without one or two books in which I am blissfully engaged. This summer, I spent a lot of time preparing for this fall semester, of course, but I did relax and find time to enjoy several books. I read fiction and nonfiction alike. As a side note, new students, when you see me walking down the long walk, you can always start a conversation with me by asking, "What are you reading now?" Or you can share with me a great read from your experience. The book that I want to share with you today is a science fiction novel that someone gifted me. It's entitled Fall, Dodge in Hell, and it was written by Neil Stevenson. Let me set the stage for you. Richard Dodge Forthrast is declared brain dead after a routine operation. Dodge's will instructs his family members to preserve him in a manner that he can be revived in the future. And 17 years after his death, he is revived in Bitworld, an eternal afterlife. And the book describes what ensues. Now, as you may know, I'm a neuroscientist. I study the brain and behavior, and I will admit this was a pretty interesting book for a neuroscientist. What was intriguing to me is how Dodge was to be preserved for the future. Scientists realized that cryogenics, or deep freezing a whole body, is of virtually no use. In the book, they preserve Dodge's connectome. They create a comprehensive map of the connections among neurons and upload those connections digitally to a supercomputer. Stevenson, the author of the book, proposes that if you want to preserve the essence of the human being, you preserve the connectome, right? The connections. You see, the function of the brain lies not simply in the neurons, but in the connections that they make and the interactions that they have. Now, for a lesson from the book. One of the purposes of coming here to Trinity is indeed to make connections. Our mission statement says, engage, connect, and transform. An important aspect of your liberal arts education is about making connections, connecting to people. Here at Trinity, we are a connected community of students, faculty, staff, alumni, and neighbors. And what is beautiful about college is that there are no constraints on whom you can befriend. You can be connected to so many different people. It's also about connections to this place. You will have the opportunity to enjoy the physical beauty of the campus and the rich experiences in Hartford, this dynamic city that we call home. And perhaps most importantly, it's about connecting ideas. I've always thought that the essence of a liberal arts education is making connections in new and different ways. Connecting a neuroscience major with an English minor, a political science class with public policy in the city, engineering with your interest in athletics. But another lesson I want to share about connectomes, they are capable of changing with experience. In other words, they can learn, and they get stronger with practice. And you students will have many, many opportunities here at Trinity to practice your connections. Now, with this novel, I don't just want to tell you the narrative, though it is a fascinating narrative, but I want to share with you a little bit about myself and tie that into my aspirations for you here at Trinity. Let me start here. I don't generally read science fiction. It's a genre of book I don't usually find appealing. I'm not enamored with science fiction because so often it paints such a dismal picture of the future. And as an eternal optimist, It's a perspective that often doesn't resonate with me. But someone who knows me well recommended this book, and I was curious to see why. What was in this 900-page book? Did I say 900-page book? That was a slow starter? Did I say 900 pages was a slow starter? Yes. That a friend wanted me to experience and think about. Then I realized I read it because I was curious. I was willing to try something new, even in a genre I don't generally like. I kept an open mind. I was determined and persistent. I was willing to trust someone else that there was some gem in these 900 pages. And in the end, I had finished one of the most fascinating and provocative novels that I've read in several years. I made the connection that a liberal arts education, like the one I had as an undergraduate, like the one that you are about to embark on here at Trinity, is designed to stimulate both curiosity and persistence over a lifetime. Sometimes you just have to trust what someone else thinks will push you and enrich you. Therefore, my charge to you is to use this time at Trinity to open your mind to new perspectives, to read a different genre of book, to interact with people who are decidedly different from you, to persist at something that may seem hard initially, and to find answers to questions that you never knew existed. These are the opportunities that await you here at Trinity. Now, I'm not going to spoil the whole story for you, but the book's subtitle is Dodge in Hell. After Dodge's death, the world evolves to a place where everyone receives highly edited information from the internet. Your truth is highly curated. The fall occurs after a deep fake is perpetrated online, and no one is able to agree on facts or a common truth. Unreasonable skepticism, deep suspicion, and paranoia take over in society when individuals cannot agree on some basic facts and a common truth. That was hell indeed. Surprisingly, the book left me ultimately optimistic. For all the doom and gloom predicted in the book, it also provided a roadmap of hope for the future. Your liberal arts education here at Trinity, our special brand of an urban residential liberal arts experience, provides the pathway for discovering what is true and just and enduring, and what is not, and the difference between the two. Striving toward what is true, just, and enduring is ultimately the hope for the future. The liberal arts education fosters that journey. So as we collectively think about the college's bicentennial in 2023, yes, next year, Trinity will celebrate its 200th anniversary. And as we think about what has endured and sustained this extraordinary place for intellectual, social, and moral growth, we are simultaneously committed to the future. At Trinity, over the next century, we have the power to create our own science fiction story, to craft a just and true future where we agree on some common facts that lead us to a common purpose. I believe that all of you who are listening carry the hope of the future. If you were accepted here at Trinity and continue to study here, you are smart, curious, persistent, and have a growth mindset. We believe you are of good character. We expect you to demonstrate that while you're here. We know that you are capable of caring for others as well as for yourself. This is how we are emerging from this pandemic, connected through care. Parents, family members, and friends, our students are here to learn both inside and outside of the classroom in a manner that will prepare them to be our hope for the future. What more can you ask for? I know, a job at the end of it all. But I can assure you, our students leave Trinity ready to take on the challenges of the world. During the last 3 years, more than 95% of our students achieved successful first destinations in jobs, graduate schools, fellowships, or the military. We got that covered. Students, here you will learn to question, but not be dragged down by overwhelming skepticism. I hope that you emerge with the belief that facts do exist, that truth does exist, and that our common understanding of some problems lead us to common solutions to those problems. That is indeed the hope for a better future, and my wish is that the world will find in this community, in fact in each one of you, that hope for the future. That's what I see when I look out from this podium. Now, one more note. As new students, you are joining the Bantam Network, an inclusive, supportive learning community. Each one of you is part of one of 10 Bantam Nests, which are organized around first-year seminars and supported by faculty, staff, and other students who help you transition to college life and provide you with guidance in myriad ways. Just before Convocation, you were handed an envelope to be opened during this ceremony. Now, open those envelopes and discover your nest. Open it up and look around and see who else is in your nest. We are all part of the Bantam Network. And just one more thing, as part of your welcome to the Bantam family, I want to introduce you to an individual who embodies what it means to be part of this college community. In just a moment, Judy Dvarin, Professor of Theater and Dance Emerita, is going to offer you remarks from her perspective of a student, a member of the faculty, and a distinguished alumna. She will also introduce additional Trinity traditions that are special to this moment, an act that transcends all the individual journeys that you have traveled to arrive here. But before she does, let me very briefly tell you a little bit about her. Professor Dvarin was one of the first women to graduate from Trinity College in 1970. Her teaching career at the college spanned 50 years, beginning in 1971 as assistant professor of dance and director of the dance program until her retirement in 2015. During her time at Trinity, she established the Trinity Dance Program, co-founded the Trinity La Mama program in New York City, and the Justice Dance Performance Project that works with Hartford youth and women affected by incarceration. She was selected to receive an honorary degree in 2020. However, the pandemic forced us to cancel our in-person commencement ceremony. Given what she means to Trinity, I am thrilled to have this opportunity to honor her here today in front of all of you. Okay, you're here. Judy, in recognition of your vital role in and tireless dedication to the college's dance program, as well as your commitment to giving voice and inspiring social action, I have, at long last, the honor of presenting you the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa. Congratulations. Do you want footstool?
I don't really need it.
Okay,
But-
I can flip it up.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Berger Sweetie. I am really deeply honored. Before I talk about some of the college's traditions, I would like to share some of the personal traditions that Trinity supported and inspired for me. First as a student, then as a longtime faculty member, and ultimately as the executive director of an arts nonprofit committed to social justice. I came to Trinity as a senior from Smith College in 1969, a long time ago, to study with Clive Thompson, who was an amazing dancer with the Alvin Ailey Company in New York City, who with his wife Liz had been invited to introduce dance to the college in its first year of coeducation. In addition to admitting women, Trinity had just embarked on an open curriculum. The only requirements were in your major. There was an atmosphere at the college that invited self-direction and creativity. 1969-70 was also a year of change and ferment nationally, both politically and culturally. Trinity was in rhythm with this national conversation, and there were heightened discussions about racial equality and the war in Vietnam that became a focus both in class and out. That year at Trinity established a tradition of learning that helped to shape everything I did henceforth in my professional career. A lifelong tradition of learning and doing that makes a difference. As part of my studies, I started a movement program at a Hartford elementary school through an independent study in educational studies, and created an American Studies thesis about slavery in America, a performance piece that was presented here and was televised by Connecticut Public Television. I was able to teach at an alternative high school at the college for troubled youth that was located right here on campus, and took courses that examined some of the deep racial issues that plagued our country then and now. Learning felt like it made a difference and was partnered in innovative ways with experience and expression that also could make a difference. This set a standard for my years ahead. Soon after graduating, I was given the opportunity to fill the gap left by Clive and Liz Thompson's departure. Ed and I, the dean of faculty at the time, offered me the challenge to prove that the dance program was an essential part of the curriculum and should be supported and expanded. Creating a dance program with a curriculum and a mission that was compatible with a liberal arts college was an incredible opportunity, but definitely had its challenges. The arts, the arts at Trinity were not a top priority at the time. I am happy to say that over the years that has changed. But then, the very existence of dance as a viable part of the curriculum was viewed with considerable skepticism. The challenge to realize a dance curriculum from the ground up, however, initiated a vitally important personal tradition for me, that of persistence in realizing a vision, never giving up. Giving up might have been easy to do at points, but the opportunity to create a program in which experience and intellectual inquiry were wedded and students were encouraged to find their creative voices, experiment, and think outside the box, was worth the challenges presented. This 43-year endeavor, seeing students open up to new worlds of awareness, creativity, and voice, consistently reaffirmed to me, follow your passion, trust it, and keep that tradition of persistence alive and well as you confront life's challenges and move forward. And it is affirming to see the theater and dance department thriving and growing in wonderful ways since I retired, continuing evolutions. In this process, I also honed the tradition of responsive seeing and listening, of being open to experience and allowing surprises to happen. Pivotal learning happens in moments that you least expect, potentially life-changing moments. One of these moments for me was when, in a chance encounter with novelist Wally Lamb, who led a writing group at York Correctional Institution for Women in Niantic, Connecticut, he asked if we at the nonprofit had ever thought of initiating a program at the women's prison. I had never considered prison as a site for our work, but my instinct told me to get past any hesitation and listen to that moment. And so I began to move through the maze of permissions needed to start a year-long performance program at York. This program would not only transform the women, but all of us teaching as well. I would come to quickly learn that prison is a microcosm of some of the tensions and injustices that divide our society even more extremely today. There was much to learn about the complex reasons that land people in prison, about the interventions that are needed to prevent this outcome, about the important ways that communities need to receive those returning from prison, and to understand that those in prison can change from the big mistake that brought them there. They are complex human beings that can grow and realize their potential if given the opportunity. That program, begun in 2005, became the seedbed for outreaches to mothers and fathers in prison and their children, kids in schools who have incarcerated loved ones, those returning from prison to the community, and most recently, young men in juvenile detention centers. Some of this work has filtered into the Human Rights Studies program at the college and has been as eye-opening and important for students as it was for me and my colleagues. The arts were the through line in these outreaches, and through the arts, incredible growth occurred. I encourage you to keep your responsive ears listening and eyes seeing, and find creative and meaningful ways to apply what you have learned. For me, it was through dance and the arts. Discover what it is for you. We are living in a more challenging time than I can ever remember. The pandemic, climate change, racial and gender injustice, war, it can be overwhelming. But what can seem like chaos can also be an opportunity to expand, to discover what you care about, and listen to where it leads you, to find important personal traditions of being and living and keep them at the top of your priorities, to be open to the new, and to savor what you discover that takes you to places of growth and understanding, and to allow the creative juices to flow in your life. Persist in what you find means something to you, and realize it as fully as possible. See the world and yourselves with fresh eyes. The door is open. The time is now. I encourage you to go for it. And now, I will share some of the time-honored Trinity traditions, followed by a toast to you, the class of 2026. The first tradition is the Fuller Arch, located directly behind you and named for Henry Fuller, class of 1938, whose $39 million bequest is the largest in the college's history. And while Fuller's gift was extraordinary, It is typical of Trinity alums from all walks of life that they give back to the college for the many gifts that they received during their Trinity experience. This unwavering support has helped place Trinity among the country's top liberal arts colleges. A tradition that you, the class of 2026, just learned about processing into this ceremony has to do with the special stone just in front of the Fuller Arch. The Luther Roosevelt Stone is celebrating its 100th birthday this year. It was laid as a memorial to former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt, who delivered a speech from that spot to 5,000 people in 1918, and it commemorates the friendship between Roosevelt and former Trinity President Flavel S. Luther. Our student tradition, which is really a time-honored superstition, is that if you step on that stone before commencement, you won't graduate. So the advice is, watch your step. Another Trinity tradition is the lemon squeezer. The tradition of the lemon squeezer says that it should be handed down to the class whose aggregate excellence in scholarship, moral character, and the qualities requisite to popularity are the highest. As we prepare to toast you, the class of 2026, we know that you will be worthy of this tradition and that you may someday come to be the possessors of the historic lemon squeezer. And now, students and faculty, please reach under your seats where you will find lemonade and join in this toast to Trinity and the class of 2026. Okay, now if I can hand it
I know. I'm not sure I've seen people actually get juice out of it and get it in the bowl, so that's awesome. I know, one is enough.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Judy. Right. All right. So first, I'm going to propose a toast to Dr. Dvarin. Congratulations for your long-awaited and well-deserved degree. Today, we propose a toast to the class of 2026 and to all new students, as well as to the college, not only for its extraordinary past, but also for its equally extraordinary future. May a similar group of scholars be assembled 'neath the elms many years from now, eagerly anticipating the year ahead, and may they look back to our words and actions as examples of the best that Trinity can be. Prost. It is now my pleasure to invite Dean Miyazaki to officially launch the academic year.
It is my duty and privilege to declare that the 199th academic year of Trinity College is hereby officially underway. May each of you excel in your studies and be moved and transformed by the ideas and the intellectual passions you are about to encounter. I now ask everyone to please stand for the alma mater sung by the Trinity College Chapel Singers. Please remain standing until the platform party has made its way up the aisle. Following the recessional, please join us for a community cookout on a gate squad.
Neath the elms of our old Trinity, neath the elms of our dear old Trinity, no more shall we meet our classmates to greet, neath the elms of our old Trinity. On the hills of our old Trinity, in the halls of our dear old Trinity, there is bright merry cheer, there are friends true and dear, neath the elms of our old Trinity. College days are from care and sorrow free, and oft will we seek in memory those days that are past, for to joy us to last neath the elms of our old Trinity. Then we'll sing to our old Trinity, to our dear old alma mater Trinity. We're two together today, and tomorrow away, far away from our old Trinity.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, Thank you.